Hey everyone, it's Aesah, and welcome to my video on Elise positioning. This is for Frontline Elise specifically. A lot of times you're trying to stun the enemy carry, which most people have in their corners. So let's just put some carries over here. Elise can jump 2 hexes and has a 2 hex radius. So what that means is if you put Elise in the middle and you're trying to stun this corner, she can jump here, and 2 hex radius means basically she'll stun all of these dummies, and okay, I'm not gonna scroll down for these. Let's just use Amumu's. She'll stun everything, all these Amumu's and everything within it. So as you can see, you're not actually hitting the corner if you use default Elise middle. Same thing if you jump the other way. So you start Elise here. If she jumps over here, once again you can see that you're not quite hitting the corner. This is 2 hex. All these Amumu's, just 1, 2, and then everything in the middle here. So you need at least closer to the carry. A lot of people do not position against Elise very well because she will target the largest clump. She's basically going to jump wherever she can hit the most possible units. I'm not entirely sure what happens in case of a tie, but the way I would recommend positioning against Elise, let's say like Twitch is your main carry, and then your opponent has an Elise right here. It is in range to stun the Twitch, so what I recommend doing is putting your front line, let's just say you have Mundo, whatever guys over here, and then putting 3 units in the middle here. So you put your filler units here, so units that you don't mind getting stunned, potentially like Zyra. I'm not entirely sure what else you would have here. Maybe like a Maddie, for example, on this board. You might have like Urgot and Vi. So if you have a board like this, what you would do is you clump the units in the middle. So again, Elise is trying to stun the most possible units here. So you might position something like this. So she won't, if she jumps over here, she's only gonna hit 2, so she won't hit Twitch in this spot. She's always gonna jump here because then she can hit all these units. It's not that impactful if your frontline gets stunned. They gain most of their mana from taking damage, and as long as they don't get stunned exactly when they're about to cast, it actually doesn't matter that much. It's only costing them about 10 mana. Because it doesn't really matter if they miss out on 1 or 2 auto attacks. They miss out on 10 or 20 mana. If they do happen to get stunned exactly when they cast, that is unfortunate. But generally, it's not that big of a deal. Because if they're not full mana, they're stunned. They're still gaining mana when taking damage. They don't need to be auto attacking. So you would put your filler units back here. These are basically just straight bots, right? Zyra for 5 experiment, Maddie for sniper. You don't really care that much if these units get stunned. You would prefer not to, but once again, you have to make some concessions somewhere. And protecting your Twitch, especially if you have a scaling item like Rageblade, it's just extremely important to not have this unit get stunned. So I personally think this is the easiest way to position against Elise, is to make a bait clump in the middle. If you notice other players doing this against you, and you can predict correct side, you can actually counter this by Elise far on the side. Notice that you will need probably 2-star Elise with either Bruiser or Form Swapper. It depends what you're up against, but if you only have a 1-star Elise, even with Bruiser and Form Swapper, it very likely will not cast if it's being targeted down. So make sure to only do this if your Elise is strong enough to take aggro immediately. So again, once again, by default, I think against left side, this is a decent spot with not your main tank. So you would protect your Elise because you're usually not going to have her itemized. She's usually not going to be able to survive taking aggro. Again, with 2-star Bruiser Form Swapper, depending on the matchup, maybe she can. This is generally good enough to reach the corner. Most people do not position around Elise properly. If they do, then you'll probably have to put her far edge. That's going to wrap it up on this video for Elise positioning and how to position against Elise. Let me know in the Discord if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.